Hi, good morning. My name is M. Gopinath. I am from AIML department. So I would like to discuss about Java programming concepts. First of all, in Java programming, we have totally 5 units. The first unit is Introduction to OOPS. In this unit, the student able to learn about what is the history of Java and what is the evolution of the Java. So the student able to learn about what is the history of Java and what is the evolution of the Java. And also the student able to understand what is JVM and what are the Java features and what is the program structure of the Java and what are the primitive data types in Java we have and how we can convert one data type to another data type. So after completion of this unit, the student learn about the basic concepts of the Java. After that, in the second unit, the student able to understand about what is class, what is the object, what is method, and what are the inheritance concepts. In this unit 2, we can discuss about what are the class fundamentals and what are the objects and what are the methods, what is constructor and what is method overloading and what is overloading constructor. So after completion of this unit, the student learn about the basic idea about the classes, methods and inheritance concepts. Next one, in the third unit of the Java programming, we have the concepts of packages, interfaces and exception handling concepts. So in the third unit, the student able to understand what is packages in Java, how we can access the packages in Java, what is the interface, how we can use the interfaces in Java. Next, what is exception handling, how we can handle the exceptions in Java. So the student can understand all these topics in the unit 3. Next, in the unit 3, the student learn about I/O basics. What is the how we can read the data from the console, how we can write data to the console, and also how we can transfer the data from one file to another file. So after completion of this unit, the student learn about what is package, how we can package, how we can use the packages, what are the interfaces we have, what is the exception handling, how we can use the I/O concepts. All these concepts are able to learn about by the students. After completion of the third unit, the fourth unit contains the threads concepts and the collection concepts. So in this unit, the student able to learn about what is thread, how we can create a thread, what are the thread priorities, what is the synchronization concept, how we can use the synchronization concept, what are the inter-thread communications, how we can, so in this way we can use about the threads concept. Again, we have the collections concepts. So in the collections concepts, the student learn about what is collection, how we can use the collections, how we can use the collections in Java. So collections means just like data structure concepts that are discussed in the Java. So after completion of this unit, the student able to learn about thread concepts and collection concepts, how we can develop the programs based on the threads, how we can use the collections in the Java. So after that, in the fifth unit, we can discuss how the student able to develop GUI based applications in Java using the concept of Java FX. So already we have the AWD concepts, swings concepts, but in this Java programming, we can use the Java FX concepts to develop the GUI based applications. So in the GUI based applications, the student able to learn about what are the basic concepts, how we can write the application in the JavaFX, what are the JavaFX controls we have. We have the different types of JavaFX controls that are label, button, how we can use the label, how we can use the buttons. So in this unit we can discuss how JavaFX are learned by the students. In this also we can learn about how we can handling the events in JavaFX. So after completion of the 5th unit, the student able to understand are able to learn about what are the how we can develop the GUI based applications in JavaFX. So these are the total 5 chapters, 5 units we have in the Java programming. So now we can see we can start from the unit 1. So first we can start the introduction to OOPS. So in the introduction to OOP, first we can study about the what is the need of object oriented programming, why we are using the object oriented programming. So generally we have the so many programming paradigms. So why we are using the object oriented programming paradigms? So in the procedural programming paradigms, there are certain limitations. So to overcome that limitations, they can develop the object oriented programming approach. So what are the limitations we have in the procedural oriented programming? So the limitations in the procedural oriented programming. So before going to procedural languages, what are the procedural languages we have? So the procedural languages are C, Fortran and Pascal. So these are some examples of the procedural programming languages. So what are the drawbacks we have in the procedural programming languages? So generally the length of the program size increases, its complexity also increases. So we can not understand clearly the programming since we have the large number of instructions in the program. So the student cannot understand the large programs. So that's why in the procedural programming languages, when the program size is increases, its complexity is also increased. That means the student cannot understand about the programs. So to overcome that drawbacks, in the procedural languages, we can divide the programs into different functions or different modules. So that means whenever the program size is increased, we can divide that program into different functions or modules. Again, this leads to some problems. What are the problems we have when we are using the functions or modules? So when we use the functions, they are unrestricted access to global data. That means any function can access the global data. And the function programs are poor connecting to the real world. That means the procedural language programs are not mapping to the real world. So we have another drawback when we are using the procedural languages. Here the procedural languages are not extensible. So these are some certain limitations we have in the procedural languages. So to overcome all these limitations, we have the new concept of object oriented programming. So what are the object oriented programming concepts? So what is the object oriented programming language? So in this object oriented modeling, so we deal with the real world objects, that means physical world objects. So what is object? So the objects are like persons, plane, a car. So these are some objects in the physical world or the real world. So in the complex real world situations, the objects have attributes and behavior. So that means each object has some attributes and behavior. So what is the attribute? So what is the attribute? Attribute means data for the object. Attribute means data for the object. That means every object has some attributes. For example, consider student is a object. So the student contains different attributes. What are the attributes the student has? That attributes are the roll number, name, date of birth and age are the attributes of the student. So for example, the name of the student is so and so. Here we can write the Ramu, and the attribute value of the roll number is 20. So for each attribute we have the values. So in the object oriented modeling, the attribute specifies about the object. So every object has the different attributes, and already I told, so each object contains some attributes and behavior. So what is the behavior? So the behavior specifies the what can be done with the objects. So behavior specifies the what can be done with the objects, how we can manipulate the attributes of the object. So simply in object oriented modeling, the behavior specifies a function or a method. So what is a function? Function is used to perform some task. For example, we have the employee class. For that we have the employee objects. So employee class has some functions. The functions are used to add the employee, to add the updating the employee or to delete the employee. So in object oriented modeling, the behavior specifies how we can handle the objects. So objects simply is a function or a method. So by using functions we can perform different operations on the objects. Example, for example, a employee class will have the functions such as adding the employee, deleting the employee or updating the employee details. So in the behavior also specifies how we can interact one object with the another object. So this is the need of the object oriented programming. So we have the drawbacks in the procedural languages. To overcome the drawbacks we need the object oriented modeling. So to overcome, we can overcome the some problems in the object oriented modeling. So thank you. So next session we discuss about what are the principles of object oriented programming languages. Thank you.